For the first time, I'm going from expensive ass flagship devices to a much more affordable flagship ecosystem. Going from a Z Fold 7 to the Xiaomi 15T Pro, AirPods Pro to the Xiaomi OpenWear, Galaxy Watch 8 Classic to the Xiaomi Watch S4, and the iPad Pro M1 to the Xiaomi Pad Mini. The flagship devices I was on previously is about 6,146 Australian dollars. This new ecosystem of devices is about $2,531. What the frick? Did I read that right? And yes, I have. Holy smoke balls. So my fat babies and I unboxed my new system and I got it all set up for this experiment. Xiaomi must have watched my video where I said, if you've got a full ecosystem, please send it over, because they did send me these devices that aren't even released yet. But Xiaomi is not sponsoring this video. As of this recording, I do not have a sponsor for this video. So I'll put a link to my icon packs to kind of support this video. But anyway, with this new setup, okay, will my life fall apart? Will I take worse photos? I don't know. Like, will I die? Like, these are the questions I will answer by actually downgrading from these freaking expensive, like this phone by itself is $3,000 something. Like, right after Samsung and then Apple, Xiaomi is the third best selling mobile brand in the world. And this is without the US market. That is pretty mental. It's thanks to devices like this Xiaomi 15T Pro. They give you the best bang for your buck. Throughout this video, I'm going to test the real world battery life, how much screen on time can I actually get, any mid-range quirks like how is the software, how are the cameras, yeah, and see if we're all just wasting our money on these flagships. I pre-ordered 2 iPhones. Those 2 iPhones combined together is 4 times the price of all of this. That is good. This is why Apple is so rich, man. People like us are just throwing money at them, just throwing our money at them. Let's go live life. Okay, this is the future Sam here, 10 days into the future to be exact. I'm actually in Germany with my wife.
Hello.
My wife has to be ready for the camera at all times. I just wanted to make a quick correction. For some dumb ass reason, I said this was the mid-range version when it's not even close. Xiaomi like to call it the affordable flagship or the upper flagship, something like that. So whenever you hear me say the word mid-range or anything like that, please change it to affordable flagship, okay? All right, now back to the video. Right off the rip, since this wasn't a true flagship version, I thought it would have Pixel 10 Pro charging speed, but nope, it gets the full fat 90 watt boost charge. This is absolute bang for your buck right here, even topping out flagships from Samsung and Apple. This fast charging on cheaper phones should be absolutely illegal. Now, how do I go back to phones like this that have less than half the speed of this charging speed? It's just redonkulous. Now, for those of you thinking, oh, the charging speed is a gimmick, that's exactly how I thought. I was one of you guys. Whenever like MKBHD or someone will mention about super fast charging, I'm like, dude, that phone's gonna blow up in 2 seconds, whatever, right? Dude. Once you experience it, trust. Let's actually see how much this thing costs compared to an iPhone 17 Pro Max. For 1 terabyte, it'll set you back $3,000. And for 2 terabytes, it's $3,800. By this point, this is not a phone. It is a tool. But if you're sitting there going, $3,000 is so much for a phone, that's because you're not a pro. Okay, go get the base cheap ass version, all right? But if you have a brain and you realize you can get more bang for your buck, I think this is it. Now let's go and check how much this costs. Now the problem is, as of this recording, this phone is not out. By the way, I've got an awesome setup going on here. Check this out. So now this is the perfect height to fit under my camera. Look at that. So they must have saved money on build quality, right? But nope. This screen has thin ass even bezels, 144 Hz refresh rate, and a massive 5,500 milliamp hour battery. It has IP68 dust and water resistance. Also, the aluminium sides, flat matte back glass feels premium. Listen to this. This makes the OnePlus 13 feel so much cheaper. But the one place I see them saving money is the optical fingerprint reader instead of the ultrasonic one. Okay, what about the cameras? So it's got a 50 megapixel main sensor, a 50 megapixel telephoto, 12 megapixel ultra wide. So it does lose out in the ultra wide, but yeah, you can shoot up to 8K video, which I might shoot it once just for this review, but I'll never shoot that, okay? Now the interesting thing, the camera hardware kind of keeps up. Okay, but what I love about Xiaomi's, and I've been saying it about almost all my Xiaomi reviews since my first Xiaomi, I absolutely fell in love with the Leica tuning with Xiaomi. Like, this is a photographer's dream phone. Like, if you want to take a phone out to do photography, this brand is the way to go. Now, if you are budget conscious and don't want to spend $2,000 on an ultra Xiaomi phone, this is like 90% there. And I've gone out and taken photos for the past week. I can assure you that it is pretty much the same as the Xiaomi 15, which I praised. If you are budget conscious, and not just budget conscious, but you just don't like having this is a camera bump. This is the camera bump of the year. If you're budget conscious, this gets about 85% there, to be honest. I mean, this does have a 1-inch sensor and the telephoto is the best in the game. So there's that. But if you're like, look, I love my photography, but I don't want that huge ass bulge ass thing, this is the way to go. I think the Xiaomi's in general have the best photo shooting experience. It is fun to take photos. And I'm telling you, it's not just the photo taking experience, but it's also the way they let you edit the photos afterwards in the gallery. Basically, a photographer made that. Someone who likes street photography, someone who likes tinkering with Fujifilm and Leica, they made that camera app. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Today happened to be the perfect weather for a picnic with the girls. So wife prepared some stuff to munch on, chucked the fat babies into their ute, chucked in the picnic mat, snacks, and a toilet bowl, and we drove to a nice park. I decided to bring the flagship Xiaomi 15 Ultra along to see how much of a difference an extra $1,000 will get you. There aren't many phones that make you want to go out and take photos, but this phone definitely inspires me to shoot. Very similar to how the Fuji X100V makes me want to shoot photos. Now let's head back to the studio and do some pixel peeping. All right, let's do some frickin' pixel peeping, which I never do on this channel. Without even looking at the metadata, I already know which phone is which. And it's not by the colors, but it's by the sensor size and the sharpening. Now, if you have a look here, this is Fat Baby's head. But then if you look at this one, see how it's much more less processed. It's not as processed. This is the Ultra. If you look at the bokeh as well, yeah, this is very sharpened. I am not too keen on this very sharpened image, but who the hell is zooming in 400,000%? You know what I'm saying? All right, moving on. Cat licking his balls shot. So when we zoom in, I didn't even get focused. You know, which phone is which? Okay, so this is definitely the 15 Ultra, and this is the 15T. Moving on. This is another 5X. So this is the Ultra and this is the 15T. In terms of colors and whatnot, I think the 15T nailed it. Yeah, okay. Immediately you can tell that this one has a much smaller sensor. So let's have a look at the fence here. And like the bokeh isn't that pleasing. Like it's very sharpened. And then if you look at the 15 Ultra, whoa, that is a difference. This looks like a camera. And this looks like a phone, but look at the grass here on the Ultra, and this is the 15T. Wow, that is a pretty big difference actually. Now this is the 1X zoom. I'm just trying to see if I can tell which one's which without looking at the metadata. This one is the Ultra, and this one is the 15T, and I am correct. Okay, so did I see a difference between the 15T Pro and the Ultra? Kind of, especially when it came to the telephoto zoom lens, because that's the biggest hardware difference. It's just that the Xiaomi 15 Ultra telephoto zoom lens is light years ahead of anything that Samsung has done or anything that iPhone has done, because iPhone and Samsung telephoto zoom lens looks the same as this guy. I don't know if there's a way to tone down the sharpening. Turns out you can actually create your own photographic styles similar to a Fuji. So the first thing you want to do is open your camera app. I'm going to take a photo of this, just like that. I took a photo just so that we can compare. So what you want to do is go into Pro and then click on this little thing on the left. And here you can change everything. So I think it's too contrasty, so I'm going to lower it down. I'm going to put the sharpness way down. Anyway, let's take the same photo. That's the before. Yes, yes. You see this digital ass sharpening thing that I hate? That's gone. That's actually gone. Bro, this is, as a photographer, I am falling more in love with how they dealt with the camera app and the gallery and stuff like that. This is nice. Now let's talk about the battery. Besides the fact that this thing has 90-watt charging, for the life of me, I could not kill this thing in a day. I was so impressed. This chip is super efficient. Paired with a 5500 milliamp hour, you cannot kill it. Literally day one, okay? Where's my Pixel? Here's a nice comparison. Day one, I had about 2 hours and 20 minutes of screen on time, day one, and I had 14% left. And I took it to Twitter and said, what the F is this? People told me the Pixels take time to settle in and then you get better battery life. They were right. Day one, 2 hours and 36 minutes of screen on time, and I had 80% left. 36 minutes phone conversation. I did hotspot tethering. 80% left. Redonkulous. And on that same day, I think I ended it with about 4 hours and 22 minutes of screen on time, and I still had 56% left. This is just, sometimes you do get those 1 or 2 days where it's just incredible battery life, okay? So I used it for another 2 weeks, and every single day, my mind was effing blown by how good this bloody battery holds up. And I did everything on it. Lightroom, played games on it, wrote scripts on it, hotspot with it, take photos with it. I did everything. The thing is this, I've used 6,000 milliamp hour battery phones before, and they were good. But to me, it was just a bit better than the S25 Ultra, you know? So it wasn't like, whoa, I was more impressed by the charging speed of these phones, but I wasn't impressed with the battery life. How are flagships not at this level? Now, how did I go with the rest of the ecosystem? Now, this Pad Mini was amazing as a tablet, but it kind of sucked for admin work. Hardware was incredible though. It has a giant battery with 67 watt fast charging. It has a 165 Hz refresh rate, which absolutely demolishes the iPad Mini as a tablet. But the second I tried to use it as an admin script writing tool, the software had a bug where it didn't know if my keyboard was connected or not and kept not letting me type. It works and then didn't work. It got so annoying, I just stopped using it for writing. I do use it for reading scripts during my shoots and also as a portable monitor for my camera when shooting solo. This is a tablet I love taking around with me, and I plan to keep it as my daily carry. What about the Xiaomi Watch S4? Let me tell you what was outstanding. Battery life. For 7 days, I haven't charged this, and I'm on 21%. Whereas the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic, literally I got to charge it every day. And the thing is this, I've got always on display on, I've got all the notifications turned on, I've got heart rate monitoring, I do my sleep tracking, 21%. And I thought, oh, maybe this has like a 7,000 milliamp hour battery or something. No, it's got the same milliamp hours or similar to the freaking Galaxy Watch. And I totally forgot to cover the 41mm version of the S4. In fact, this is the actual watch that is new. For the longest time, my wife was asking for a smaller Android Wear watch. All the Android watches are massive, minus the Pixel watch, but that looks like AS. She's like, can't people make a thinner, smaller watch for girls? And they did just that. I have no idea why they named it the same thing. Like, this should be called the Ooga Chaka version, and this should be called the girly fancy pants. Now, what are the differences? First of all, The size, so 41 millimeters versus 47 millimeters. Even though this is made out of stainless steel, it's actually lighter by 12 grams. It has a few more sensors. It has skin temperature monitoring thing, and it also can send your heart rate over to gym equipment. Oh yeah, and the battery. So this one you're gonna get about 8 days of use, whilst the Uga Chaka version you get 15 days. Well, that's what it says online. So that's pretty cool. Outside of battery, it's like, yeah, it gets the job done. Because it doesn't have Wear OS, like I use Google Assistant and Gemini often, like set an alarm for whatever, set a timer for whatever. You can't do that here. So in order to set a timer, I gotta like freaking scroll. Like literally, this is me setting a timer in real time. And then I gotta pick a time, custom, pick a time. Do you know what I'm saying? And then now the timer is set. Like that's annoying. So how was this replacing the AirPods? Freaking comfortable. Like the first 5 minutes, I was like, woohoo, something's on my ear. But once you use it for a bit, you actually completely forget that it's there because there's nothing going inside your ear holes. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just resting on the top of your head. It does have like these little touch controls to stop, start and all that crap. But once you get used to this being on your head, you forget that it's there. And there was a time I used this for about 8 hours straight. Battery still was good. Yeah, and then this seamlessly switches between the tablet to this. Now, the only thing you're missing out on is ANC, like because it's not in your ear holes, there's no active noise cancelling. So if you're out in a cafe and stuff like that, yeah, you're gonna be able to hear everything. So this is like perfect for when I'm editing at home. Anyway, let's talk about the software for the Xiaomi 15T Pro. HyperOS 2 is a mixed bag. When you talk about the camera software and gallery editing software, it's my absolute favorite. Ability to use AI to generate different aspect ratio is still unique to HyperOS, and I love it. Setting custom picture profiles like the Fuji is so fun as well. But it still has the same issues with basic stuff like why do I need to dig into settings to get extra dim to work? In fact, I set it up but it's just not showing. I did restart it, not working. Also, not having screen call is a miss. The Pixels, Galaxy and even the iPhones now have screen call feature, which is great for spam calls. Oh, and the widgets not having a search bar is still ridiculous. Outside of these things, HyperOS 2 is fine. Loads of smooth animation, a crazy wallpaper carousel feature, and has quirky features like turning off torch with lock button. Or this sidebar thing where you can open multiple floating windows, or pulling down with 3 fingers to save a screenshot. HyperOS 3 is around the corner and I expect some improvements. The biggest win was I haven't seen a single ad on this phone. No idea what's going on, but this should be the norm. What is my final verdict going from a 6K to a 2.5K setup? It wasn't hard at all. I did not feel like I was being cheated once. In fact, there were times where I'm like, dude, this doesn't make sense. Why this is better than these phones in certain areas. It's got to the point where because I prefer these camera quality over all of the other Pixels and Samsungs and iPhones, I actually compared it to the Xiaomi 15 Ultra, this is bigger brother. Like it's, I don't know, $500,000 more. I don't know. But I had to compare these two because everything else was crap compared to this. I genuinely felt like many of us are being taken advantage of and getting ripped off by Apple and Samsung and Google by getting slower charging, less battery, boring looking photos, and less storage. And I'm not surprised how Xiaomi got to the number 3 spot because people who do their research, people who are into specs, would pick up one of these things any day over those other flagships that are like 3-4 times the price. If you want more bang for your buck, don't look past the Xiaomi 15T Pro.